Is Ardbeg back on track with the new 2025 Smokiverse release? Well, we're about to find out. I'm Jeff. This is Whiskey. Stick around. All right, so it's an Ardbeg today. I feel like it's been a while since I talked about an Ardbeg on the channel, and I like Ardbeg. I have a long history with them. And our Smokiverse here is celebrating the brand's 25 years of special release bottlings. This is their 2025 special release for Ardbeg Day, Fisheel, and people seem to like it. In fact, I've heard some people say that this is the best Ardbeg Day release in years, which got me interested because honestly, I often avoid these releases. I have some, I've bought some, and I've enjoyed some, but for me, they're all too often overpriced and gimmicky. However, I am a follower, a sheep, very impressionable, and desperate for validation from both my peers and the wider whiskey community. So if people say this is good, I'm getting on board. Now, this is special release 4,628,512, and like so many special releases before it, this one has a gimmick. This one has a unique production process. The idea here is that this is Ardbeg's first use of a high-gravity mash. It's made with extra dense mash to boost acetate ester production by 25%. So this will be different because science. So what does that unique production have to do with calling it the Ardbeg Smokiverse? Well, they do make use of gravity in the production process, and gravity is in the universe, and also Ardbeg is smoky. So I guess the marketing writes itself. Apparently this is a more fruity and tropical Ardbeg, which sounds cool. It's been matured in ex-bourbon casks, also cool. And finally, this is among the cheaper special releases from Ardbeg, so things are looking good here. And do I have anything else to say? No. So let's jump into this review. In the meantime, if you'll kindly leave a like down below, that'd be greatly appreciated. For specs, this one comes in at a healthy 48.3%. It is non-chill filtered, and it is natural color. For presentation, I do like the bottle. It's pretty much a classic Ardbeg bottle, but it's got that sort of funky Smokiverse on it. And I like the space theme because much like dinosaurs and motorcycles, space is cool. I'll give this 3.5 out of 5. This does say it's non-chill filtered. I don't think it mentions color, but it is a natural color. We get notes on the production process. We get some tasting notes. Nothing about cask play or anything like that. Info's okay. On the nose, this smells like an Ardbeg. In fact, a pretty straightforward Ardbeg, if I'm being honest. We get stuff like honey, malt, peat, lemon rind. It's slightly medicinal. It's coastal. This also gives us some barley and soot. A lot of the marketing for this bottle talks about tropical fruits, and yeah, they are in here. I'm picking up on some pineapple, some banana, maybe a bit of starfruit. On the palate and finish, this gives us a wonderfully oily texture and a surprisingly gradual and gentle arrival. I get stuff like honey, white pepper. We get some peat in here. We get some brown sugar. I get a touch of fermented fruit, starfruit maybe. I also get banana bread, sourdough bread. I also get plenty of soot, citrus, and coastal notes. This gives us a medium to long finish, lingering on that beautiful barley note. All right, so this is a nice Ardbeg. It works. And honestly, I had no idea what to expect going into this bottle. Because it's one of those bottles with a lot of production jargon. And there's nothing wrong with production jargon, I just don't know what it means. Like, I've never been sitting there sipping on an Ardbeg and thinking, you know what?
A denser mash to increase acetate ester production by 25% would really help this whiskey along.
It's never occurred to me. But whatever they did to this, I like it. I think this is a really solid Ardbeg. Now, I'm not one to compare this to a lot of the other special releases because I really haven't had too many of them. Again, once in a while I'll come back to them, but from the ones I've had, yes, I do think this is the strongest in a while. Because this is a very honest Ardbeg. It's not too old, it's not too young, it is very distillate driven, there's no bells or whistles, and I appreciate all that. And for me, the standout element about this whiskey is the texture, the oiliness, that slow build on arrival. It is very gradual, but it does eventually build up to something that's every bit as powerful as what you want an Ardbeg to be. But it's got this wonderful roundness and softness to the edges, which I really like. Like with the marketing, they keep going on about tropical fruits, and they're in here. For me, they're not that prominent. They're in there, though. You can find them. But the texture, I mean, people need to be talking about this texture. Also, we have a very prominent barley note in here. I always love tasting the barley in a distillate, and we can taste the distillate. As I said earlier, this is distillate forward. There's no cask chromatics here. So I see why a lot of people really like this one. I really like this one. Fine, it's not a mind-blowing whiskey, and in a lot of ways, it is a very classic Ardbeg, but that's a good thing. And also, it does have just enough of a twist to stand out without becoming too flashy, so it walks that line nicely. So this is a great one for the peat heads, for the Ardbeg fans, and listen, as much as I trash talk Ardbeg and talk about their special releases being overpriced and gimmicky, which they often are, I still try and keep an ear to the ground, and when I hear that there's a good one, I might give it a go. In this case, I did, and I'm glad I did. So for score, I really like this, man. I'm going to give this one an 88. I highly recommend it. That texture and that beautiful barley note really sell it for me. Behind all that, it is just a classic Ardbeg. You can't go wrong. Now, before we jump into value, I do want to really quickly beg for some money. So if you guys are a fan of the channel, if you like what I'm doing here, it's all me, from scripting to obviously shooting and editing. It's a one-man show, so if you want to help support that, I've got Patreon and PayPal linked down below if you're already a supporter. Thank you very much. Now let's talk about value. So in my market, this sells for about $100, which is not cheap, but it is cheaper than a lot of the other special releases. Like the Ardbeg Spectacular, for example, was like $140 in my market, and it was worse. I do not understand whiskey prices sometimes. But yeah, for the price I paid, I do think it's a good deal. I do think it's worth it. This is the best special release that I've tried since, I want to say, the Bizarrebecue, which was also very good and went in a completely different direction, but also worked. Yeah, this one, recommended. And that brings us to the end of the video. So guys, thank you very much for watching. And of course, this is the part where I want to hear from you. So have you tried the Ardbeg, what is this one called? Smokiverse? Have you tried the Ardbeg Smokiverse? How would you compare it to other recent Ardbeg releases? Do you agree that it's one of the better ones we've had in a while or not? Let me know all of your thoughts down below. And finally, if you want to help out, I've got Patreon and PayPal, as I've already mentioned. And here's a bunch of patrons, and I'm blabbering. So I will see you in the next video.